It's the Germany Experience, the podcast about life in Germany as seen through the eyes of outsiders. I'm your host, Sean. Visit the website, thegermanyexperience.de, or email me info@thegermanyexperience.de. As you know, I'm still on a summer break, and I'm posting reruns of older episodes in the meantime until I return. This rerun was originally released in October 2020, and it's called Wurst, Arsch, Schwein, idioms. Why Daddy Das is weird and sitting down to pee in Germany. It features Ricardo from Brazil and Ivan from Bulgaria, and they ran an Instagram account called Can You German, which gave direct translations of German idioms, and it was very funny. The Instagram account is still there, but these guys actually haven't updated it in a while, so I guess it is now dormant. But this episode with them is still great because it was a lot of fun. The guys are very funny. We talk about their stories of how they come to Germany, why German is obsessed with idioms that have to do with sausage, butts, and pigs, and the culture shock for men when they learn that sitting down to pee in Germany is the norm. One of the great things about having a podcast is when I like a website or a YouTube channel or an Instagram channel, I can just reach out to the guys and say, hey, you want to come on a podcast? Because it gives me a chance to meet the guys and the faces behind some of these channels. And that's exactly the case today. One of my favorite Instagram accounts, and it's maybe my favorite Instagram account, to be honest, because it never fails to make me laugh. And you've made me snort my coffee once or twice. It's an Instagram channel called Can You German? And we'll get to that in a little bit. But I just want to introduce the guys behind the channel. So we've got Ricardo and Ivan. So let's introduce the two of you. Maybe start with you, Ricardo.
Hey, thanks for having us. This is amazing.
Well, give it time. Give it time, Ricardo.
I'm Ricardo, as you said. I'm from Brazil, and I've been learning German since 2011, I guess. And I had a great experience living in Germany. I made a lot of friends over there. One of them is sitting over here with us. It's Ivan.
So you're sitting in Brazil right now.
Yeah, I'm over here at my apartment in Curitiba, south of Brazil.
Curitiba,
it's not so hot as people think, but it's sunny right now.
And so you said you were in Brazil, in Germany for a while. Can you tell me a little bit about that time that you spent there? What was that like for you?
I was there for 2 years, almost 2 years, and I was studying at the time engineering. They say Produktionsingenieurswissenschaft, I guess. I don't know. We say production engineer here in Brazil. But it was actually an exchange program. So I stayed in two cities mainly. The first city was Marburg, which is near Frankfurt, a little bit north. I was there for 6 months. And then I went to another city near Nuremberg. It was called Erlangen. Maybe you guys know it.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
I live 40 kilometers from Erlangen, so that's kind of where my area.
Oh, that's your. So you know the expressions we're going to talk about this.
Yeah,
everything changes from region in Germany. So It was a big change for me in the language kind of feud because I was like, okay, now I learned German. I'm ready for this. And then I went to Bavaria, and it was like, what? Is this a new country? But anyways, I was there for 1.5 years in Erlangen, where I met most of my friends and people I know from Germany. And it was a very nice experience to be there. I came back almost 4 years ago now, and I'm working as a German teacher. So it was like life-changing.
What was the reason for becoming a German teacher?
Well, mainly because I didn't like my study field, I guess, or I liked best to give classes, and I discovered that I was having a lot of fun with giving classes. I started since I came back with private lessons, and it became most like my routine to give lessons every day. And once I graduated, I did graduated, by the way, but
no one was asking, buddy. No one was asking.
I didn't move on with engineering because I was more into German classes and the German language. It was it was actually a thing I discovered, and it made sense in the since the beginning. So I just kept on.
Yeah. So okay. So you met Ivan while you were in Germany. So Ivan, what? Let's maybe introduce yourself.
Yes, all right. Hi, guys. My name is Ivan or Ivan,
Oh,
whatever you
Ivan.
prefer.
Sorry. Sorry.
Well, Ivan would be I'm from another country starting with B, but Bulgaria. Living in
Okay.
Germany for quite a while. I think it's been like 11 or 12 years altogether. And yeah, in Bulgarian it's Ivan, in English Ivan, in German it's more like Ivan, which is also
Ivan.
completely fine. So whatever you like, you can pick and call me using it. Yeah.
Okay.
Coming from Bulgaria, I've been in Germany for a while, living in Dusseldorf now. But I've lived in quite a few different cities in Germany. I came first time for an exchange here when I was 16, 17. I was just like 11th grade in high school. Came back later. So that was close to Munich. Then I came for my studies, which were in Heidelberg. Then, because of work, I kind of changed a few different cities and ended up here. Uh,
Okay.
at least for now. Let's see where the future takes me.
And how did it work that you and Ricardo were in the same place in the same time? Where was that?
Yeah, that's I guess a pretty good and super complicated story because really, if I try to sum it up, it's going to be a bit confusing, but I'll still try. Yeah.
Okay.
So, 2015, I went to Italy. I stayed in a hostel in Bologna. That's where I met a Brazilian guy, not Ricardo. The Brazilian guy
Okay.
went to Greece. We thought we partied together. We thought we will never see each other again. He went to Greece, went on a party island, missed his flight. He actually booked a flight that was like 2 weeks later than he intended. So he was at the airport that they told him no flights. So he got to the airline, negotiated a lot with a lot of charm and so on. They put him on a flight to Prague instead as a compromise somehow. I don't know. He went to Prague, went to a hostel, met Ricardo. And at
Yeah.
that time,
Okay.
Ricardo was living in Germany. So, Rix,
Right.
what happened from then on? Yeah, you met Danny, and then I think you went to Germany, right?
Yeah, Prague was actually 1 hour with the bus from Erlangen, so it was a very nice city to go and escape for the weekend.
Yeah.
Sometimes we would go there. I think this time I was with my sister; she was visiting me,
Oh,
and
really?
we met Dunny in the hostel. He was like this crazy party guy, was like all over the place. He's a very very nice person. And then as I don't know when he decided to come to my city to visit
I
me.
think you basically invited him, didn't you? I mean,
Yeah,
it's like,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah. So they kind of decided to visit me in Germany because they were in Germany anyways. And Danny was like, "Hey, Ricardo, there is this Bulgarian guy in Dortmund. I was living in Dortmund at the time. Let's go visit him." So they did, and that's how Ricardo and me met.
Ivan, have you been to Brazil?
Yeah, and that was this year for the first time. So 2020 was very eventful, not just because of everything that happened, but for me it was the year when I took some time off.
Okay.
I decided I announced it like a year in advance at work that I would like to take a sabbatical, like a 6-7 months off work and just go and travel. That was the goal. That's what I did. I went to South America at the end of January this year.
Okay.
As you can
Wow.
imagine, a very sensitive point of time.
Yeah.
uh, exactly. So I went to Brazil, and Ricardo, we had been in touch all the time, and I went there, visited him, also met his friends. We had a few small trips together. And yeah, and then I left and I said, "See you soon, guys. I really hope to see you soon." And I didn't realize that it's going to be much sooner than expected because just
Okay.
3 weeks later, Corona hit. I was in Buenos Aires, and the
Right.
whole situation made me retreat back to Brazil and spend another month with Ricardo.
yes. He just called me and he said, "Man, I'm like in Buenos Aires. I guess everybody is gonna everything is gonna shut down over here. And I don't know what to do." I just said, "Man, just take a plane, come back, retreat." And he did this, and I'm glad he did it because we spent like 2 months over here in my apartment. It was very cool. We did a bunch of stuff that I
Yeah.
wouldn't do, I guess, alone. And one of them is Can You German? So
Okay, so let's move on to Can You German. So I want to hear the origin story of this Instagram channel, but before we get onto how it started, I just maybe explain what it is. So you put the English translation of a German idiom, and then you give the German idiom, and then you give an explanation. So you give a definition, and then you give your own little take on it. So I've got a few favorites that I can give as examples. So let me just get them up here. You can slide down my hump. The thing that already I'm reading this, I'm like, what the fuck? Du kannst mir den Buckel runterrutschen. And then there's a description you give, a strong expression of contempt and hatred against someone. It doesn't have to make sense. We're talking about emotions here. And it's usually these little, number 2 after the definition where you give your own little take on things that I find particularly funny as well. And then there's other ones like please pee in sitting, bitte im Sitzen pinkeln. Encouraging men to sit down to pee. And number 1 culture shock for many newcomers in Germany. And when I read that, I'm like, yeah, that was for me. That was one of my big culture shocks when I arrived. I mean, what kind of culture is this? So tell me how it started. Did it actually start when you guys were both together in Brazil?
Yeah, it definitely did start there. I think the idea came up, there were like 2 times 1 month. So the first 1 month I was there was like traveling and having fun and partying. The second month I was there, it was a kind of semi-lockdown, but we were like spending times on our own, isolating ourselves, meeting just a very few friends. And
right.
But let's say when life was still normal, we kind of came up with the idea without thinking that we were really going to implement it. But actually, it was a Brazilian Instagram page that inspired us.
Okay.
It has kind of a similar style. It has this kind of a dictionary kind of style. And they're as well translating Brazilian Portuguese idioms literally into English and then adding something to the description of them. Yeah. So we took it, slightly twisted the style and added a lot of our own humor. That's one thing we realized with Ricardo. We have kind of a very similar sense of humor in a way. And that's when during quarantine, the idea was born. We were like, let's get it started, contacted a few friends, especially for the design, started generating ideas and kicked it off.
And did you have any hopes for this? Was this just something you thought would be popular, or did you just think, let's just do this for the fun of it?
I think, in the beginning it was just, let's do this because we're doing nothing anyways over here. So the idea developed in our minds, and in the Instagram itself, we just realized, let's make it serious. Let's talk about strategies and let's have a plan over here. Yeah. So
in terms of how to make it popular, right? Like there is no end goal. We just decided we start and we see where it goes. So far, it hasn't been bad. Yeah.
I think it's been going pretty well.
Yeah, I think we were quite satisfied, actually. Yeah, so it keeps us going because it's actually much more work than we thought in the beginning. Yeah, it's not just like, we have to make a post, like 20 minutes, get them done, post them on Instagram, everything's okay. Yeah, it turned out to be a bit more than this.
And I guess you guys have a lot of foreigners following you, but I see that there's a lot of German people who follow you as well. I think a lot of Germans enjoy the page.
Yeah, I guess so, because it's a funny way of looking into
their own language. Yeah.
Sometimes it's even the translation itself that's already like funny enough, some things you use in everyday life. I think it's with all the languages, you never question or think what's behind it actually. But once you want to translate it literally into another language, you realize how absurd it is, how it doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. Yeah.
I think that's what's good for people learning German as well, is that it's a good way to learn the idioms because, I think that's one of the values of the Instagram.
Exactly. I think even we've been learning, because another strategy to get some funny ideas is just to ask people, would you have any ideas in the story or in the comments?
Yeah,
and we've been using them a lot. Yeah, exactly. Every now and then we would have a suggestion and we need to double check it ourselves. We are sure what it actually means.
So everyone's learning. Very, very educational.
Everybody's learning. Exactly. It's a win-win-win a learning experience for everybody, with a bit of a laughter every now and then.
It was a bit of an entertainment factor.
Exactly. I'm very happy about the feedback you gave. That you have been enjoying the page as well.
I love it.
Yeah, you never know what's happening on the other side of the phone screens. We're kind of
Exactly.
creating the content. Some people gave us very positive, amazing feedback, but at times it's like we're just looking at the number of likes we get, and that's the only feedback that we
I
kind
know.
of get until we meet someone or talk to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things like this are quite encouraging, to be honest.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's nice to hear what's happening on the other side. So, yeah, like you were saying earlier, like some of the German expressions can be pretty weird, which is one of the things that makes this so much fun. For example, things like sich die Eier schaukeln, to swing your eggs.
It's I think it's my favorite, this one.
It's definitely one that stood out to me. Yeah,
yeah, it's like what a stronger way. I mean, by the way, I hope you put kind of a red dot with a 18 and so on. We're going to have a lot of dirty expressions here. Examples
you have been warned, folks. You have been warned. This is explicit. This is going to get
this
dirty.
Is very explicit, exactly. But what better way to say like you're doing nothing, like really nothing productive. You're just standing and doing nothing. You are swinging your eggs, you know?
Yeah, I'm swinging my testicles.
You're just standing there and swinging your eggs. And I guess we all know, we can kind of picture that. It's so visual in a way.
Yeah, and I liked your number 2 for that was, yes, eggs means testicles or something like that.
We decided we would like to specify, just in case.
So what are some of your guys' favorites? Do you have favorites that you can think of now that for you? Maybe Ivan, from your side?
The funny thing is, you mentioned some of my favorites. Yeah, well, at least to swing your eggs, for example, or the please pee in sitting. I really like the idea of it because it's a very cultural thing. You know, like Germans may not get it at first. Like, why do we put so much emphasis on this kind of an everyday thing? But they don't know the feeling when you've done a certain thing in a specific way all your life, and then you go to another country,
and it's literally never a thing.
Exactly.
It's never a thing. It's I lived in South Africa. I've been around the world. It has never been an issue until I came to Germany. Right. And do you know how I discovered this? Was I was at a friend's house and I went to the bathroom it was his apartment, and I stood up to pee, and then when I came out, this guy said to me, "Did you stand up and pee in the bathroom?" I'm like, "Yeah." and he said to me, "Don't you think that's kind of rude?" I'm like, "What rude? How is standing up to pee rude?" And he told me you just don't do that in Germany. And when he goes to people's houses, he would never stand up to pee on their toilets. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta confess, I brought this habit to Brazil because sometimes I'm like, I just sit down. It's like,
bro, I think we should maybe like point out. You know, I guess people don't know what's behind it, but I don't know. Maybe we should point out that it's actually not so absurd, and that maybe German. Not for the first time, the Germans are giving example to the whole world. So
I hate to say it, but I've also adopted. This is something that I've adopted as well since that. When I realized that because I think a lot of the reason is there's a lot of how can we put this, spray and possibility for like not hygienic and
exactly.
And it's not a bad point. It's a huge thing when you faced with it in the beginning. I kind of like went through several phases. Like in the beginning, I was like, screw that. I'm going to stand up to pee if I wanna. And then like afterwards, I'm like, maybe it makes sense. Sometimes I'll do it when I'm at people's houses, and I'll just do it all the time, even at home.
Yeah, exactly. It's comfortable, I guess, and avoids two works when you have to clean your mess. So I guess it's just way faster.
Yeah,
I think I saw a very good way a sign. Well, this kind of please pee in sitting can be put in a varying degree of politeness. Usually, it's a sign on the wall, you know. And once I saw the following: there was a sign saying, "What? Even if you're Chuck Norris and have 99.99% confidence in your aim, it still doesn't make this toilet to a urinal." You know, like a rough translation, but a politely just putting it there. You know, like there are always a bit of a a few drops around, you know, and someone else will have to take care of it.
Always.
And one of my favorite signs was Männer mit Niveau sitzen aufs Klo, or something like that. So basically, men with class sit on the toilet. It doesn't, like, it rhymes so nicely in German, so it doesn't translate so well, but yeah, Männer mit Niveau sitzen aufs Klo.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's a thing in Brazil. I guess it's a little of men pride, I'd say, but
Yeah, like
I
most of
guess
the
Germans
world.
went over this, and I appreciate it because it's more logical, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
So we are actually behind the Germans on that one, despite the fact that it takes a little while to get used to in the beginning.
Yeah.
What is some of your favorites, Ricardo, that you've gone through already?
Oh, I really like Lasst die Kirchendorf. I think this is very poetic somehow.
Yes, it
I don't
is.
know.
Yes.
Because I never found a equivalent in Portuguese.
What does it mean?
It means leave the church in the village, which is the translation, like literal translation. But in the greater meaning, it would be like to keep your mind to things that can be achievable, can be doable. Don't go chasing a lot of stuff that you cannot do, or let's keep to the point, I'd say. I don't know how to describe it better, but
also sometimes don't make something bigger than it actually is. Don't make an elephant out of the fly, or how do you say that? Like,
right. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill, I guess would be the English equivalent. Yeah.
It's the church, it's in the village, leave it there.
Just leave it there.
Don't take it to other villages.
Yes, out of this one, I'd say I really like the different versions of calling your friends over there. You can say warm dusche, so your warm shower. That's really funny. Or Weichei, Dorfmatratze. I'd say like a lot of this stuff. When
These are all insults, right, guys? I mean, don't call your friends.
Those are insults. They're friendly insults if you know the guy well enough, or the people well enough. Yeah.
If it's a friend, you can do it. And I guess this Schnee von gestern is one of my favorites. Like,
what?
It's Schnee von gestern, snow from yesterday, which is like, this is past.
Yeah, you do like the poetic ones, don't you?
I like it.
Yeah, that Kirche im Dorf one, I have a colleague of mine uses it in work meetings. I've heard him use it like 3 or 4 times. He's Dominic. He's been on my podcast before. And every time I hear him, I had to, like, after the first time, I had to say, I think I went onto the internet to look it up. And then I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I just kind of felt that's wasted in a work setting. It's just so idiomatic and so, like you said, so epic.
Poetic.
Yeah, just to be clear, that when you were talking about Weichei, that's coward. And what was the other one? You said Dorfmatratze.
I don't know where the hell I learned this one, but it was like a friend of mine, a Brazilian, of course. He came to my city and he was like, "Yeah, do Dorfmatratze," and I was like, "What? What's that?" And it's the mattress of the village.
The village mattress, yeah.
The village mattress, yes, and supposed to mean prostitute or someone who works, who gives their bodies for sex, I would say. And
keep talking, Ricardo. Keep talking.
Money. Yeah, I just explain things. But this guy would call me Dorfmatratze, and I would say, "Man, what the hell why?" And he explained it to me, so I would call everybody Dorfmatratze, even though it was a little rude sometimes.
Yeah,
I love German expressions, I would say.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that made me learn German. It's the funny that they can bring into the situations, and it's pretty genius.
Yeah, they've got some brilliant phrases. But there's certain things that they seem to be obsessed with when it comes to phrases and idiomatic expressions and so on. What kind of patterns have you guys seen? Like, what subjects would you say they're obsessed with?
Yeah, I mean, just a few weeks ago we did a sausage week, the worst week. I mean, the worst, like Wurst week, because there are so many expressions which involve sausages, which involve Würste, which is incredible. We kind of brainstormed quite a few, and once we decided to go deeper, the more we dig, the more we're coming up. It's like a never-ending stream.
Well, so we do love their Wurst, the Germans.
Exactly, yeah.
I guess sausage is it's a very day-to-day thing, and everything turns around sausage in Germany.
Yeah.
But one thing that describes this is "Es geht um die Wurst," which means it's about the sausage, which is like this is important. This is important. We're talking about
This-
the thing here. Es geht die Wurst.
This is the crux.
Exactly, but if something is completely unimportant to you, then you say, "Es ist mir Wurst." It's sausage to me. So look how from the most important thing, the sausage became the least important, which
Yeah.
is like, why? You sit there and just wonder why.
Like you've gotten so much importance on it in the one, and the other one is just like it's not important at all. Like, okay, all right, Germans.
Yeah, and they also have one which would say to get an extra sausage, ein extra Wurst bekommen. This is like so funny because you want some advantage, right? Yeah, you want the extra Wurst. And also, alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei,
Hat zwei,
which is
yeah.
so funny.
I mean, like everything has an end. That's the meaning of the saying as well. Like
Yeah.
the second half is just to
Except
you
for
know
sausage.
to give some tribute to the sausage. You know, no other reason whatsoever.
Just kind of shoehorned on the top there.
Yeah, we kind of noticed. What else did we have? We did, I think, like 7 sausage expressions in a single week. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
we
that. I remember there was a Wurst flood from you guys.
Yeah.
We have kind of Wurst von Teller ziehen. Kind of Wurst von Teller ziehen.
yeah.
That would be to not be able to pull a sausage off the plate. You're so tired. You cannot pull the sausage to your mouth. So it's like
Which
kind
is
of
critical in Germany.
And
Yeah.
even some people commented like, "Oh my god, I would never be able to use these kind of sausage expressions because I don't know, I start laughing every time, or because I think people gonna take them in a dirty way. You know, they kind of assume some sexual innuendo behind them. Although there is none, and that's the crazy part. All
That's
the foreigners
interesting.
kind of hear about a sausage and I don't know, some association pop up. It's so cultural in Germany that it's not related. It's not about this at all. Yeah, it's just expressions have become so normal.
It's truly the sausage. They have no double meaning.
Yeah.
Which
Exactly.
it's
not like
it's
the
crazy.
winner in
It's
English
too
or
special.
anything.
Wurst is too special to associate with anything else. It's like, let's keep it pure.
Okay, what is not pure is another object of a lot of expressions is the arsch, the ass. And very
They do
soon,
love
An
arsch.
object. An object, Ivan. I wouldn't describe it as an object, but okay.
What? The object of our attention in a way. So
Yeah.
very soon
Very
after
good.
this podcast, I think by the time it gets released, it might be already out or in the process, but we're going to have an arsch week. So
Oh,
an
yeah.
ass week, where we kind of had quite a few ass-related expressions in stock. Yeah.
Oh, very exciting. So maybe you can give us a preview of what's going to be
A
there. Although by
spoiler,
the
come
time,
on.
yeah, give us some spoilers. Although I think this is going to be out by the time you guys hit your Arschweek.
So
No
I
problem.
think we're just gonna list them down very quickly so people get an idea what it could be. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna give like the English expression, but like something is at Earth's ass is in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's somewhere far away. Yeah.
Arsch der Welt, that is, right?
Genau.
There we go.
ADW.
I am so at the ass today, this evening.
Mm.
To be at the ass, yeah. Meaning, it has 2 meanings actually. Being very, very tired or having screwed something up, like being in a really tough situation, like some big
Okay.
consequences are coming up.
Right.
So, buddy, please come out of the ass. Or get out of the ass. Aus dem Arsch kommen. Then it's this one kind of a get active finally, get out of your shell, whatever.
Come out of your ass.
Exactly. Something is pointless. Ist alles für den Arsch. It's
Yeah.
all for the ass. Oh, actually, one of my favorites is we had it like rather early in Kenya, Germany. The sun is shining out of someone's ass. Die Sonne
Yeah.
scheint ihm aus dem Arsch. Meaning, and what does it mean? Like he's feeling
I think
very
he's really happy or something. Yeah,
Yes,
he's very happy, like the sun is shining out of your ass, which is I don't know, I really liked it. It's
It's a normal expression,
exactly
day-to-day life.
yeah. It almost seems to me like they've got more Arsch idioms than Wurst idioms, or maybe it's a tie. I'm
Maybe,
not sure.
yeah, that's a tie. I don't know. I guess.
I kind of try to, I don't know, after we planned this kind of a ass post, I was thinking, is it possible to have a conversation when they all come up? Yeah. So it's I don't think it's like an everyday thing, but I think I tried to put them together. Yeah. So that would be a conversation between two people somewhere at work, maybe sent out abroad, or I don't know. One of them would say, I just take the English one, so to make
Yeah.
it more. So, man, I'm so at the ass, being at Earth's ass, doing these things that are, anyways, all for the ass. My friends are already laughing their asses off. And the other guy would reply, man, you surely have your ass open. No ass would agree with you. Now shut up, come out of your ass, and get back to work.
Brilliant. And there you realize how ridiculous these things are when you translate it into English. That whole thing was ridiculous.
Man, we can make a post on this. It's a whole conversation.
And I think we mentioned like some kind of 7-8 idioms, but if you dig in, it's really tens, dozens and dozens of those. They really have no end.
So what else? What other words do the Germans enjoy for their idioms?
Scheiße.
Oh yeah.
Or I'd say Sau, Schwein. They love this kind of.
They do like the schwein.
Things related to pigs, and I took so long to discover that Sau was the female pig, actually. So, and everything made sense after a while. So I was going from Marburg, which is Hessen, the middle of Germany, to Bayern, to the south of Germany, and all the expressions changed all of a sudden. Everything, it's Sau, it's not Schwein anymore. So everyone would say, hey, das interessiert keine Sau. I would be like, okay, I get it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Sau, and I took so long to ask somebody, and then once they explained me, like, it was, oh, okay, now it makes sense. But actually don't, because why the hell you'd say female pig on everything? So they would say,
the confusing part is when you use it as a way to emphasize some adjective, to say it's so Sau from pig,
That's right.
from a swine, it becomes something, a way to say very, or like really. Like, oh, das ist sau cool.
Yeah, that's right. That's so right.
Swinely awesome, swinely cool. Like,
swinely awesome.
This is so cool.
Sau cool. I started to use this like every day, and I became addicted. Like sau cool, sau cool, and I would say to elderly people, so it wasn't so polite. But I was the Brazilian guy learning German, so it was no big of a problem.
That is one of the good things about being a foreigner, because if you say things like that, like if you say geil in front of kids, or if you say das ist sau heiß heute, I'm just a foreigner, man. I'm just learning this language. I don't know what I'm doing.
Sorry, I'm learning. Ich lerne noch. Oh, so cute, you're learning German. Everybody.
Exactly,
yeah. But they're really helpful when you say you're learning German. I had a very positive response from everybody over there. So it wasn't as cold as I was expecting. Everybody says, no, you're going to Germany, everybody's cold over there. But actually, I had the opposite experience, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're very. I find they get excited when they find someone wanting to learn, because then they want to help. Sometimes a little too much, and you're like, okay, maybe you're helping me too much. But they really, really get excited when someone is making efforts, and they want to explain all of these things, even these idioms and things like that. They really want to go out of their way and explain. I've also had mostly positive experiences. The experiences where people look at you strangely, they happen, but it's a minority.
Very rarely, yes, me too. I had so many experiences where I would go to a party or a festival or something like this, and I met somebody. I'd say I'm a Brazilian learning German, and they started to give me a whole class, like a free class on German, and I would be like hours listening.
We don't have to do this now, guys.
Sometimes I was just like, okay, let's party a little bit. We can come back for the lesson. But I guess Brazilians are very well seen in Germany as well, in all countries. So I had a lot of luck on this.
Yeah. So let's go back to your guys' experiences with learning German. So Ricardo, have you had any strange or funny experiences during your time of learning German, or something that's maybe embarrassing?
Well, I must admit, I went to Germany as a very, very beginner German speaker. So I would just speak something and just I didn't understand the rest of the response, and I would nod, hey, yeah, I'm getting. A lot of times I would just like go home completely like I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
But it developed, and I was learning like every day consistently. So once I just could make a full sentence, I went to a bar and I asked for a
As
beer.
one does.
Yeah.
It's time. I can speak.
It's time.
I can ask a beer.
I'm ready. Because if you speak English, everybody's gonna do it. And I was trying to pretend I'm a German, so
Right.
nobody speaks English to me. And I said no. From now on, I'm gonna speak German. Nur Deutsch. Let's go. I went to this bar and say, hey, ich hätte gerne ein Bier. Okay, the person understands, but gives to me this answer. Welche? Like, which one? And I was like, fuck, no. Okay. Now now I got to go back and learn all this German different kind of beers, because you don't ask for a beer. So someone told me, you don't ask for a beer, you ask for the type of a beer, a Pilsner.
That's right.
Or something like
yeah. I love
man.
how it's just that one word to derail your confidence. You're like, I'm ready for the bar. I'm ready to order a beer. And they're like, which beer? I'm like, oh, shit. Good night.
Yes. And I realized that Germans don't work on this kind of, it's not only beer, it's a lot of categories, and you gotta know them.
Yeah, you do. And what about you, Ivan? How was your do you have any stories from when you were learning German, or things that you had difficulty with?
To be honest, I don't know. I've been here for quite a while now. I don't even claim I'm like 100% fluent in German. You know, sometimes I catch myself not knowing something, not being sure about something.
Yeah.
But okay, one thing that has been there all the time is the whole der, die, das thing. Yeah, I'm sure you've discussed this like plenty of times on your show. Yeah, but I just want to emphasize how weird this is, because it's not the only language having like different articles and different genders. You know, but let's say Bulgarian, or I don't know, or Spanish, like words that sound similar and are almost identical, that would usually have the same article, but not in German. Because why? Because it would be too easy, you know. So you have der Sand, you know, sand, like sand, yeah. Der Sand, yeah. Then you change one letter, it becomes Wand, wall, but then it's die. All of a sudden the wall becomes female. Der Sand, die Wand, yeah. And then if we talk about the bracelet, you know, something you put around your waist, yeah, then it's Band. Why should it be der or die? Let's take das, you know, das Band, der Sand, die Wand, das Band, you know. And like, what is going on? And then you think that was hard enough. Then you realize that Band can also be der, if by this you mean a book, like Band 1, 2 and 3, you know, like a different a book kind of piece of literature that's into multiple books or whatever, yeah. But then you see, wait, we're not over yet, because then you see the very same word again, but then it's taken from English, the band, like a music band, yeah. Then Germans pronounce it die Band, yeah. And yeah, there you heard it, yeah. It's die, because why not, yeah.
Because
so when you have the band, but as an English word, then it becomes die. So I was like, oh my God, I just discovered the first word that's der, die, and das at the very same time. There we go. Although recently I heard there is another one. Exactly. So 10 years later, I'm writing an email and I want to use the word spam. And I realize I don't know which gender spam has in German. So I look it up and I see, oh, it can be der, die, or das at the very same time. There we go. We have another one.
Oh my God.
And then someone told me that yogurt is apparently the same as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Although people say that nobody says this spam or the yogurt. No, nobody does that.
Yeah, but theoretically you could. So still it's 3 options, people.
Exactly. Yeah. But unfortunately, German doesn't do you the favor. Most words have only one article. You have to know it by heart. Very often, you cannot derive it at all. And then you have this kind of a little weird strategies. For example, in the early years, if I don't know the article of a word, I would twist the sentence to put it in dative so I can say them, which increase my chance that I got it right. Because only if it's die, it would be wrong. If it's der or das, you know.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like,
something I
that's
do as well.
good
I do that as well, even to this day. And I've been here 13 years, and I still rephrase
Right.
so that I'm talking den, der, because it improves my chances.
So you
Yeah.
want to say, where is the yogurt? Like, wo ist das Joghurt?
Yeah.
Then I would say, wie sieht es mit dem Joghurt aus? You know?
Which is actually pretty amazing grammatical gymnastics that you're doing there. So that is a great way to learn as well, but still easier than learning the articles.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I remember when that first struck me as very early on in my German lessons. We were learning German before we moved to Germany, and we were in class and we were talking about the knife, fork, and a spoon, which is just all cutlery that goes around your plate. And I would think that it's all the same. It's cutlery, for God's sake, but it's not. They're each different. It's like, I think it's der Löffel, is it one of them? Der Löffel, it's der Gabel.
Die Gabel.
Yeah.
See, I don't fucking know. I still don't know.
Exactly.
And das Messer.
Das Messer. And
Right.
die Messer. Das Messer, sorry. It should be D because it's got an E at the end, and there's a rule that most words that end in E are D, but not in this case. So.
Yeah, some exceptions, because ER actually are masculine, most of
Yes.
it.
So it's
But,
der often. Yeah.
In this case, das, and some other a lot of exceptions. But a lot of students, they come to me and say, should I just how do I go about this? And I'll tell them, yeah, there are a lot of endings that could help you, but a lot of exceptions. So
yeah,
the best way is to listen and speak and try a lot. And once you get it, it's in your heart. You never say it.
Yeah,
and twist it into dative, you know,
or to twist it into
twist it into dative. Yeah,
but I will. I think that's exactly. You just have to spend time listening, even though for me it doesn't help. But the biggest thing that I can actually suggest to people is to read a lot of things whenever they can in German, because that helps you. That I find that I remember if I see a noun and the article, and I've read it, I somehow remember it better. So it's also something that's helped me. But still, I'm saying that's a help, but I mean it minimally. I'm still screwed with articles.
It's hard. It's a big problem. It's gonna always be, and we're always gonna be learning. So it's about this thing about languages. You never stop learning. It's something if you don't practice, you're gonna forget. So even Portuguese, my mother language, I have to train it. Like, I don't do it on purpose, but I do it because I need it.
Yeah. In some of the emails that we were writing back and forth, Ivan, you said something about a German accent or a mystery that you had with a German accent or something.
Oh, yes. And please, to the whole audience, if everybody has a reasonable explanations, hit me up, because I've been wondering for years.
Ooh, I'm curious now.
Yeah. It's okay. First of all, I have to say Germans speak great English mostly. Like it's one of the countries where you really can live normally without having to use German at all. Yeah, which is really, really great. And I would even consider German accent not so strong. Let's say Bulgarian is an Eastern European country. Like, everybody has their own accent, and German is, I think, certainly not the strongest one. But there is one thing that really surprised me when listening to Germans speak in English, and it's the V, double, and W sounds.
Yes.
And actually, I mean, typical German accent, like stereotypical one, would be like when, Germans don't have W in the language, they only have a V. So when there is a W, let's say the word Word, Word, or the software, Microsoft Office, Word, they would very often say something like Word, or where. Some people would say it more like there, sometimes it kind of slips in, and this is completely understandable. That's fine. That's the phonetics of the language. But wait, then we have some words which have a completely normal German V inside them. I see you're already laughing.
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Word village, you've got the word village. And then there comes the German who was unable to pronounce a W just a second ago and says village.
Village.
You're like, why?
Why?
And you know that I've asked
village. What?
Village. I've asked Germans about that. I've noticed as well, and I've actually asked Germans about it. Like, how is it that you're saying the V as W, but you can't say the W when it's a W? And they don't understand what I'm asking. Like, and then I try to explain to them, this is what you're doing. It's saying village, and it's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, but it's wrong. It's not supposed to be like that.
And the thing is, if you say, will, the German word for want, ich will, I want, will, okay, it's fine. Say
You're doing
will,
it.
Then add ich. Yeah, will ich.
Yeah,
Will
you're
ich.
doing it right now.
Right. Exactly.
You're doing
And, they have the V in the language. They don't have the W. And all of a sudden, they switch the one for the other without any sense. It's like a contradiction to say words and then say village, and it comes in all the letters where the letter V comes after consonant. To advance something, it's I asked some linguists, and they still did have no explanation for this. They say it's kind
strange.
of an overreaction, but then why does it happen within the same person, like these two things? It's, I don't know.
I love how Ivan is really pissed off about it.
He's angry, man. He's angry. He's like, come on, Germans.
Curious.
Get your shit together, Germans.
Yeah. So guys, please explain me. You're gonna contribute to the quality of my sleep at night, Please tell me.
So to anyone who's listening who understands this, or maybe there's a German out there listening who knows the reason behind this. I think we all want to know. We want to know. So give us the answer. Help Ivan sleep at night.
Yeah, but Germans speak very, very well. Their accent is almost like fluent from the beginning, I guess. I don't know what's happening over there, but but they have a very distinct accent that you can recognize everywhere. Like if a German is speaking English, I'd know. Yes. I don't know about you guys, but I can recognize.
There's actually two. Yeah, I could. But there's actually two German accents that the older people speak differently to the younger people, I find. So the accent that you get it in the older people is more stereotypical, like you used to have in the movies in the old days with this. Und ja, we are going to the shop to see what we can do. But the younger kids speak more like almost with an American accent quite often. There's a lot of Americanisms that's coming to their language, but it's definitely noticeable when you hear it internationally. Yeah, so there we go. German is messed up. I think is what we can conclude here.
Full of surprises,
Full of surprises.
Every single day, So especially, with Can You German, if we had to decide how long can we go, at what time the German idioms are going to run out,
I don't think there is material forever. No, you got material forever.
If we keep the motivation up, it can even go for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful language.
I've before we wrap this up, I want to tell you about one post that I saw from you guys, and we have to do this without spoilers. But you posted one of your posts was dark, which is dunkel adjective, and you said the description is it's a popular German Netflix series. And then the number 2 is so true because the language wasn't complicated enough. So this TV show, Dark, I just watched it now. I was a little late to the train because I generally don't like watching German things when I'm relaxing. I just keep it English because I want to enjoy English. But I kept on hearing how good this TV show was. So then I decided to watch it. And man, it is good. It is really, really good. But it is so confusing, and it's so confusing with the German. And then I saw one of you guys' comments was be prepared to keep rewinding and listening to things a few times when you watch it. So you guys enjoyed the show?
Yeah, I actually had to see it like a bunch of times and a lot of YouTube tutorials, but I in the end got it. So and it's very well filmed, and
the cinematography
very
is amazing.
well done, the photography, and a lot of my students, they ask me, do they always go on a run in the woods? This is normal. And it is normal. Germans go in the woods.
They do. It is completely feasible.
Yeah, this is one thing, and a lot of typical things that happen over there in this German schools constructions, which is so German and typical German. I loved it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. But it's the only TV show I've ever watched while making notes. I've never had to make notes during a TV show to keep track of the characters and what was going on. But it is definitely, you guys can recommend that to listeners as well, right?
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it yet. You guys are almost motivating me. I'm on the way.
You have to watch it.
Still, I need this last stretch.
I can tell you this. If you watch it now, they've apparently it wasn't there for the first 2 seasons, but since the 3rd season, they've got a website, dark.netflix.io or something like that. But it is incredibly well done. They've got the whole family tree. up there, and then you can, when you go to the website, you can say what episode you're on. So you say series 1, episode 3, and then they only update the family tree up till that. So you don't get any spoilers, but you can still keep track of which character's which. And as you go through it, you can see they give you a description of this character did this and whatever happened. So it is that replaced my notes towards the end. I'm like, oh, this is much better. I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, maybe the way you watch movies in English, just to calm down and relax and not having to focus. Maybe I have the very same expectations when watching movies, and that's why the idea of keeping Excel sheets in order to understand the movie is not really encouraging or exciting.
No.
But I'll think about it, guys. I'll definitely think about it, and maybe I'll get there. Then we can discuss next time.
Yeah, because I definitely recommend that to people who are looking for some good entertainment, looking to learn German. Just put on the subtitles. I have to watch with German subtitles because my German's good enough now, but I still need to read just to make sure I don't miss anything. I tried it with English subtitles and I just couldn't do it because my brain, I think, is now too segmented. So I can't actually listen to German and read English at the same time. It was so weird. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, this is the worst. This is like training for be a Dolmetscher, a translator.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could do. Just put the subtitle always in the same language. It's way easier.
Way easier.
Maybe harder in the beginning, but it's going to be easier in the long run.
Yeah. So there you go. So if you don't know it, the Can You German is the Instagram site. I wish you every success with the Instagram pages. I think it's got 5,000 followers now, or over 5,000 followers in a few months. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So
thanks.
Thank you so much for taking the time and coming on. And I'm so excited for people to hear and see the faces behind the Instagram account. And I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Sean. It was a pleasure. Thank you too.
Thanks for having us. Nice.
See you guys. That was such a fun discussion with Ricardo and Ivan. And I've got a question for you. What Instagram accounts to do with Germany do you recommend? It could be expat profiles, accounts that have to do with learning German, whatever. Just let me know. Get in touch by going to thegermanyexperience.de/contact or by mailing me at info@thegermanyexperience.de. And don't forget, you can also leave me a voicemail message if you go to thegermanyexperience.de. There's a little microphone that pops up in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Click on that, and you'll be able to send me a voicemail directly to my ears. So why don't you do that? All right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening. Music in this episode, as always, by my band, 10 Cent Jades. Additional music by Ryan Edison. Until the end. Auf Wiederhören.